Welcome once again to Fraser Nation in the Geometry series. This is your host, Timothy Fraser, and we have a series of videos to help you either get the lecture that you missed or get ahead in your studies. Um, this is the first section out of your book 1.1, Identify Points, Lines, and Planes. And I will always remind you, if you see it in the video, it needs to be in your notes. We're going to get to the point where I'm going to want you to watch the video, take your notes before you come to class, so that way we can work on homework, projects, group work, blase, blase, blase. Okay? So, as you are looking at your screen and you're writing everything down, you are free to pause the video. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and go fast so that I can get my video file size down, but please feel free to press pause, write down, rewind, do what you need to do to get the perfect notes. So, as we're looking at 1.1, our objective remains clear. Students will be able to name and sketch geometric figures. Okay? The essential question that you should be able to answer at the end of this lesson is, how do you name geometric figures? Fraser, what do you mean by geometric figures? Well, there's points, there's lines, there's planes, there's line segments, there's rays, there's, a whole bunch of stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into this. You'll see this little remember section on your title card, but being that this is your first section out of the book, not really too much to remember except for Algebra 150, okay? Inverse operations are very important, so I'm going to need you to remember those. Next card. We have a ton of key vocabulary. Make sure that you not only get the definition, you get the picture that goes along with the definition. As you see, the very first key vocabulary that we have is called a point, okay? Has no dimension, represented by a dot. So as you see right here, I have a dot, there's a letter next to it, and you will call that point A, okay? Next, line. A line has one dimension, has two arrowheads, which means that it extends without end on both sides. Okay, so as you're looking at this line right here, this arrow means it goes on forever in the right direction. This arrow right here means it goes forever in the left direction. Okay. The one thing that you're going to want to remember about lines is that through any 2 points that are on that line, for example, this line right here, A and B. Here are 2 points on the line, and I'm telling you that the line that you're looking at on your screen is the only line that is going to pass through points A and B. Okay? Now, you could have 15 points, 17 points, 3,000 points on the line. You only need 2 points to name. Typically, you're going to see illustrations where you only have 2 or 3 points. So instead of writing the word line AB, you can write the symbol. Okay, notice there's a symbol right here. Okay, so matter of fact, you might want to put that in your notes. So let's go ahead and write that down. Symbol. Okay. Your symbol is going to be the 2 points that you're using to name it, and the little miniature line up top. Okay, with 2 arrowheads. You can also switch it and say BA. Okay, and you're still talking about the same line because, hey, one line goes between 2 points. Say, for example, I have a line with 3 points. Once again, I only need 2 to name it. So line CE, EC, EG, GE, CG, GC. There's 6 possibilities to name this line because I only need 2 points. Next vocab word that we want to focus on is the plane. Okay, students initially have problems with this definition. I want you to think of a flat surface, any flat surface that extends without bound. Okay, it looks like the wall, the floor, the screen of your phone, the table, basically any flat surface that extends without end. Okay, so think of this computer screen, okay? We're going forever this way, we're going forever this way, go forever this way, go forever this way. So any flat surface. Now the line you only need 2 points to name, but in the plane you need 3 points. And there's one thing that you have to remember right here. You can use any 3 points that are not on the same line. Okay? If they're on the same line, that doesn't necessarily give you a unique plane. So let's look at our example. Okay? We have a plane right here. Here's a flat surface. This is usually how you're going to see it on the paper. And here are 3 points, A, B, and C. As long as you're naming 3 points that don't lie on the same line, then you can use those points to name this flat surface. Okay? Sometimes a plane will have a letter like in the corner somewhere. We could say, let's pick a letter V. Okay? If you'll notice, letter V does not have a point next to it. So this plane could also be called plane V. Okay? But as you notice right here, plane has no symbol. So unfortunately, you're stuck with writing the word, and your 3 points are writing the word and writing the letter that is identifying that plane. Okay? Next. Next vocab word is endpoint. Okay? So this is the point where a line segment or array originates or terminates from. Okay? So let's take that vocab word and let's go straight into the next vocab word, which is line segment. Okay? So this is basically where you take a line, you chop it up. So let's look at our picture. Same thing, except we chop it up and we end at A and B. These are your endpoints. Okay? This is where your line segment begins and terminates. Okay? So everything else from that line is gone. You see how we have line segment AB? Instead of writing this word right here, we have another symbol that we can use. Take 2 points that are on that line segment. Okay, take the 2 endpoints from that line segment and draw a miniature line segment up top. Notice there's no arrows. Okay? Same thing with line segment. You can switch the letters around and still talk about the same line segment. So you can say line segment BA with just a little symbol up top. The next vocab word is ray. Okay. A ray has one endpoint, one arrow. That means that it starts at a point, goes on forever in the other direction. I want you to look at this picture right here and look at this picture right here. Unlike the previous geometric figures that we were naming, we cannot say that ray AB and ray BA are the same ray. Why? Well, look how it starts. When we say ray AB, A is in front, so that means our endpoint is starting at A. In this phrase right here, ray BA, B is first, so that means that we're going to start from B. So when we're using our symbols, it's really important to know what letter comes first is your endpoint, and then you draw a little miniature ray up top, okay, with one arrow. Next card. Intersection. So this is the set of points that two figures have in common. Okay. Intersecting lines have 1 point in common, as you see in your picture right here. Here's 2 lines. They're intersecting and they share only 1 point in common. Okay. Intersecting planes, they have lines in common. Like they have a set of a set of points that are going to form a line. Remember, planes extend without bound, and the set of points that are going to be in line are going to go without bound. That's why it's a line. Next, this is really important. I want you to remember that co, it means the same. Okay, so when we talk about collinear points, it's always in the name in geometry. Co, same, line, points. So points that lie in the same line. Okay, so here is an example. Okay, A, B, and C are on the same exact line. Okay, so A, B, and C would be collinear. Look at lonely D right here though. D is not on this line. So if I were to say name 4 points that are not collinear, I would say A, B, C, and D because not all 4 of them reside on the same line. Questions? No? Okay. Um, Finally, we have here, and that's some ugly writing. Um, Coplanar. Same thing, same idea. We're saying that points that lie on the same plane. So as we look at this flat surface, okay, we have 3 points that are on the surface, a point down here at the bottom that's not on that surface, another point right here that's not on this surface. So if you wanted to just be specific, you would say A, B, and C are coplanar. Okay. Okay. If it would say like, hey, give me 3 non-coplanar points, well, only one of them has to be off of this plane. So I would say D, I would say B, and I would say E. And I notice right here, you guys didn't stop me. This is not C. This has to be E. Okay, because there is no C on this plane. But anyway, D, B, and E. As you notice, they're not on the same plane. So you would have to say D, B, and E are non-coplanar. Whew. Non-coplanar. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. So let's go ahead and kind of review a little bit. Here's a line right here, and there's 3 ways to name this line. I want you to notice that A has a dot that's right next to it. B has a dot right next to it. But this letter G right here does not have a dot next to it. What does it have next to it? Well, when you see something like this on the diagram, this means that G is attached to this line. Okay? So if you see something like that, you can go ahead and safely write line G. Okay? You can't put the symbol right here because that's only when you have 2 points on the line, but you'll write the line and you will write G. Second, let's go ahead and use our symbols. We could say A, B, and put a little symbol right here. Or we can say BA, and let's use our symbol right here. Okay? You have to forgive me, I am writing kind of blind. My tablet that I'm writing on doesn't have a screen preview, so I don't know exactly where I'm writing. So, next, naming planes, okay? So here's a flat surface, and notice that A, B, and C have dots next to them, okay? And if you remember in your definition, planes have to be named by 3 points. Well, this letter V right here does not have a point next to it, but it's on this plane. So that means that this letter V is attached to the plane. So for number 1, I can write plane V. Okay? And, like I said, there is no symbol for plane, so you would have to actually write the word plane out and then pick 3 letters. And as you can see here, we have 6 configurations we can use. A, B, C, A, C, B, so on and so forth. So as long as you're picking 3 points that are on the flat surface, then you can use those points in the name. But if I had something like this right here, point X, X cannot be anywhere here because X is not even on the plane. It's not coplanar. Next card. Okay, guided practice. I left the picture out so that we can kind of draw it together. So we need a picture first, and let's see if we can do this. Okay, so first I want you to draw one plane. Okay, so here's a plane. Okay, and then I want you to draw another plane. Okay, so here are 2 planes, and hopefully you're writing in pencil. let's say that, ooh, no. Let's go ahead and try that again. Let's try that again. Let's try it again. Okay, so let's get a pen tool here. All right, so draw this plane first. And actually, let's not do that. Here's one plane. Here's another plane. And let's draw and connect a line. That's not what I was looking for. Okay, let's try it. All right. So let's draw a line. Okay. And let's actually put arrows on this line. Okay. Terrible artist. Jeez. Let's see. Let's do a point right here. Let's do another line. So arrows. Draw. Okay. And let's draw 2 points that are on that line we just drew. So P. Yeah. Let's make this letter Q. Let's make this right here M. And finally, let's put a miniature K right here. But notice I'm not writing any points. And let's call this plane B. And let's call this plane A. Okay. So if you have your book, I am doing the guided practice, so the picture would look a little cleaner, a little nicer. But name the intersection. Okay. So what do we say when we mean intersection? We mean sharing a set of points. Okay. That's what we mean when we say intersection. So look at PQ, line PQ. Line PQ and line K. Okay, so here's the K, here's line K, and here's PQ. Do they share a point? Well, hopefully you do see that they do. Right here, we would say it's M. So the answer for number 1 would be point M. Okay. Number 2, name the intersection of plane A and plane B. Well, if you go back a couple of cards, remember I told you that 2 planes intersect at a line. So if we look at plane A and we look at plane B, we have this line right here. Now, unfortunately, we can't name 2 points because it only has this 1 point on it. So the answer to number 2 would have to be line K. Okay. This one we can't use a symbol because this is not a point and M is the only point on that line. So we have to call it line K. And finally, name the intersection of plane A and line K. Well, this one is a tricky, this one is kind of a trick question, but let's go ahead and say share points. Okay. So what I mean by share points, I mean, hey, if this is plane A and this is line K, well, all of the points on line K are also on plane A. So wouldn't it make sense that the intersection is line K again? Well, if you didn't understand that, make sure you write that question down in the margin in your notes and ask me next time in class. Okay? Well, that's going to do it for me. This was 1.1. Okay? Draw a smile. Getting used to my tablet. So, anyway, enjoy and meet me for the next video.